Hello Earthlings, I'm Chris. Coming up on this week's Earth Juice, robot bees, elephants make coffee, and ancestral interbreeding. Bring it on. Now, if I could control minds, I'd probably make Cameron Diaz think that she was my wife. But perhaps we shouldn't go into what else I might do. But some scientists do actually have the ability to control minds, albeit insect ones, and they've put their powers to a much more beneficial use. Engineers from Sheffield and Sussex University have announced that they are planning to scan the seeing and smelling parts of bees' brains and upload that information into a robot, or a bee-bot if you will. Now, insects are brilliant at flying and smelling and carrying things, but they also have relatively simple brains that scientists can hack into and replicate. The hope is that the bee-bot will be just like a bee. I mean, it's not going to be a bee, but it's going to do bee things. So, rather than flying constantly into windows, it will be controlled to fly into collapsed buildings, sniff out explosives, or even track down drugs in places that sniffer dogs simply cannot reach. With their tiny size, they could even become bee-bot spies. They could fly into an important meeting pretending to be a bee and even trap themselves against the window. They could then fly back to base and divulge all of that office gossip, or more likely, actual important military stuff. Next up, coffee. Now, civet coffee, also known as cat poo coffee, has been around for years, but extreme barista Blake Dinkin has supersized the idea. He was inspired by Dr. Marcone from the University of Guelph in Canada, who showed that the enzymes in an elephant's stomach can break down the proteins in the coffee beans responsible for giving it its bitter taste. So Dinkin has started to feed coffee beans to elephants to make a brew which, like the civet coffee, is smooth and has none of the bitterness of your normal cup. Of course, being an elephant means they have a much bigger appetite than a small cat and can process many more beans, which, when they're partially digested, simply plop out of the other end. And then all someone has to do is to collect the dung, search through it and pick out all of the beans. Some job. After a very thorough washing, the beans are then taken to a gourmet roaster in Bangkok. Okay, it's starting to sound nice now. This process not only provides the locals with a much needed income as well as supporting the local elephant sanctuary, but it also creates some seriously high-end coffee. But as with all of the finer things in life, a cup of elephant poo coffee doesn't come cheap. And you can expect to pay up to $50 for a single cup, which brings a whole new light to the question, one lump or poo. And finally, interbreeding. Over the years, genetic researchers have suggested that modern humans and Neanderthals probably had it off with each other when we roamed the planet together thousands of years ago. Yet the fossilized bones left behind by these interspecies bedfellows didn't show any obvious signs of hybridization. However, a new study of some free-loving monkeys suggests we shouldn't expect them to either. Mary Caleta, a fellow at the University of Texas, studied cross-copulating monkeys in Mexico and revealed that we can't rely solely on our fossils to tell us exactly who we are and who made us. Researchers examined blood and hair samples from black and mantled howler monkeys where the two species coexist in the Tabasco region of Mexico. They identified 128 hybrids that were likely the fruits of several generations of interbreeding. Saucy. But it turned out that these monkey hybrids actually shared most of their hereditary information with either the black or the mantled species, and not both, making them physically identical to their purebred companions. So, while our sexually adventurous ancestors played a large role in shaping early human diversity, it is possible that interbreeding has been underestimated in human fossils. And those frisky monkeys show that it's difficult to prove just who was having it off with who thousands of years ago. So that was this week's juice. Would you drink elephant poo coffee? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.